Hello and welcome to more Modern Horizons pre-release bonus content. I'm Graham and I'm here with Kenji NumotTheNummy Egashira, who gets to finally open some packs.
Woohoo! Yes.
Missed the drafting portion. Fog actually, there's no fog in the set. There is a frog that becomes a fog.
Spore frog.
The turbo frog.
Frog, yes.
Right? Anyway, the point is, Kenji's going to be making, even though we did drafting for the PPR, Kenji is going to be making a sealed deck out of 6 packs of Modern Horizons, and I mean, I'm excited to see what you come up with.
Dude, so, absolutely. I don't even know all the cards yet, so
let's get into it.
It's going to be an ordeal. You know, I'm actually going to let you open that pack.
Okay.
You know why?
Why?
I have faith in your pack opening abilities.
Oh, well, thank you. So, all the packs start with, let's go to the, here we go, the gameplay shot.
Yes.
All the packs start with a token.
Absolutely.
They're in an unusual order. So they all start with a token.
Look at that.
And then an art card.
That's not going to show up on the thing, though, is it?
Oh,
Wait,
the card recognizer
Oh, 'cause
knows
it is
the art. So
Oh, that is cool. So that's the art from...
From Lightning Skelemental.
Wow.
And yeah, there's 54 of these. And this is 41 of 54. And they're just really cool.
They're just, full art cards.
I like
All
them
right.
a lot.
So what I normally do for sealed is, well, immediately go straight to the rare. Oh,
Ooh,
Yawgmoth, Thran Physician. You'll notice that the rares and mythics are on the top as opposed to the back.
Token, art, land, which is always snow covered.
Correct.
Rare, 3 uncommons and all the commons.
And there is a reason to keep your lands that you open in this set. Snow-covered permanents do have utility. There are a lot of abilities that are good. So, especially in sealed and draft, you know, you're going to want to watch out for these, right? You don't want to just toss them aside.
Yeah, because you don't get to add an unlimited number of snowlands to your deck.
Correct.
You have to either open them in your sealed pool, as we're doing now, or draft them. Now in sealed, you're only going to get 6 lands.
Yeah.
Which that makes it a lot more difficult to get to a critical mass of snow permanents than you can do in draft, but maybe there's a possibility. We'll see.
But that's the nice thing. When you're doing in draft, you're going to recognize when other people are taking the snowlands because there just won't be a land in the pack.
So what do you make of Yawgmoth?
Let's see what he does. 2/4 for 4. Protection from humans. Okay, notably there are a lot of changelings in this format, so that is going to come up.
Changelings are humans.
That's going to come up a lot more than you think. Pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, put a 1/1 counter on up to 1 target creature, and draw a card. Okay, that's pretty good. That's very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
put a -1 counter. So you could maybe kill something or make something smaller.
Correct.
And then
You can
black, discard a card.
proliferate. And so discarding a card is not actually that much of an issue when you're drawing a card off of the ability. So it's it fuels itself.
Yawgmoth kind of seems like a house.
This card's great. There's nothing else to say about it, you know?
Yeah.
Uncommon wise, we have a Wall of Blossoms, a nice little reprint.
Always good.
Feaster of Fools, another uncommon.
Ooh, Devour.
Yeah, so there's a lot of one-ofs in this set. Proliferate, I think, is a one-of. I don't know.
I think that's the only card
Exactly.
with Proliferate. I think this is the only card with Devour.
Exactly.
I could be wrong.
There could be more. Let's see, 3/3 flying
With Convoke.
for 6, and also Devour. So if you're convoking it out, presumably you have some creatures. You can devour. If you devour just 1 creature, it's a 5/5 flyer. Comes down earlier than 6. That's pretty solid.
I feel like Yawgmoth and the Feaster of Fools go well in the same deck.
That is a good start to a black deck, and you'll notice that I'm sorting by color here. Whenever
you can also proliferate with Yawgmoth the counters on the Feaster if you
Yes.
devour. Oh,
Correct,
I'm already on board.
See, Graham knows. Wing
Watch this
Shards,
be the only black cards you open.
just a very, very good removal spell. Obviously better if you have more instants or if your opponent casts something pre-combat. Rank Officer.
That card is a terrible pun name, and I love it.
Rank. He's so rank. He's also a rank.
I don't know how they localize jokes like that.
You know what? I'm from Seattle, so I apologize. Lancer Sliver. Okay, Sliver's making a comeback in this format as well. Here's one of the cards we were talking about that has relevance to picking up snow permanents.
It's like a Hedron Crab for snowlands.
Exactly. It's an 0/4. I mean, it's fine if you
not
get
just lands. Sorry, any
snow permanents. Correct. Yeah, we haven't seen any other snow permanents yet, but I could see that doing work. Maybe more so in draft, where you're likely to pick up more of them as opposed to a sealed. Croson Tusker, just a very, very good reprint. You know, this is always going to be a good card in your deck should you be playing it. This art, man, creeps me out. Return from Extinction. Again, we were talking about changelings, so this has good utility. If you have a changeling and just any other creature, you can return them both, or just return one thing. Mother Bear, nice.
Big Mama.
extremely value 2/2.
So yeah, 2/2 for 2, and then later 2 2/2s.
Yeah, that's as good as a 2/2 is going to do, so can't go wrong with there. Wart Eye Witch, 3/2 for 3, some value when it or another creature dies. Spell Snuff, again, not a bad form of cancel, random upside.
Random reappearance of Fateful Hour of all mechanics.
That's the only Fateful Hour card
Oh
in the
yeah,
set, isn't it?
Sure
Okay.
is.
Our first red card is a Viashino Sand Sprinter. We do see cycling a bit in this format as red-blue draw 2 is an archetype.
Yeah, I saw the cards that were like it only does a thing if you've drawn 2 cards this
Right.
turn, and I was sort of like, oh, that's a big ask, until I realized on the receiving end of your draft deck that the card you draw for your turn, that's the first one, and then you just cycle anything, and then that's 2.
Exactly.
And so yeah, that makes that a lot more feasible.
And then our last card, Recruit the Worthy, Buyback. There are actually a few buyback cards in this set. This one's kind of a bad Sprout Storm if you had the ever bad luck of playing against that. All right, so our first pack, we have a lot of black cards. Definitely our 2 strongest, I think, are the Feaster of Fools and the Yawgmoth, though Krosan Tusker, Wing Shards, all fine. We only have 1 red card. Might start going through. There, thank you. Oh, look at that, a foil bear to go with our mother bear.
Foil bear, very nice.
Yes, and I don't know what that art is, but it will tell me. Oh, the black Morphling.
Oh, Endling, yeah.
Yes.
Completing the cycle, finally.
Oh, was that the last one that they didn't have?
A black one? I think so, yeah.
We got ourselves a snow-covered plains there. Our rare, this is the Horizon Canopy cycle, Nurturing Peatland. Good card. Just you're gonna put this basically into any limited deck, especially in sealed where you're trying to accrue, small advantages. This is a card that's just great. I would probably even run this in a deck that I'm not playing black or green in, but certainly in a deck where I'm playing either black or green.
Now, Horizon Canopy was already in Modern.
Yes.
So it's not in Modern Horizons.
Correct.
So there's not a complete cycle. There's just the 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe that is true.
Have they printed have they printed Horizon Canopy with this art treatment, or is it still only Future Sight?
No, I think it was reprinted, wasn't it? Wasn't it in another Masters set?
Oh, probably.
I think it might have been. Anyways, yeah.
I forgot the soldier token because it's non-foil is actually double-sided. It's a soldier or an elephant.
There you go. Cunning Evasion. Whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may return it to it. So kind of cute with like the ninjutsu that they have in the format. This is one of the callbacks.
Yes.
Gravedigger into Grave Shifter. So this is a changeling, but for all intents and purposes, it's Gravedigger. In fact, the art is even a huge callback if you remember the art of the Gravedigger. It's another one of our better cards. So again, looking like black's good. Here's a ninjutsu card, Ingenious Infiltrator. Whenever a ninja, not this ninja, whenever a ninja you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. That's pretty darn good.
That is nice.
And again,
that's a cheap ninjutsu cost too.
Yes, just 2 mana. There are plenty of unblockable creatures in this format as well.
It's also a Vidalcan randomly.
There's like a vampire ninja in this set too, if I remember correctly. So yeah, this card seems gross to me. 4 mana, 3/3 with rebound. So it's 4 mana for 2 3/3s.
Yeah.
Yikes.
That's very strong.
Yikes. Rocks Veteran. Solid beater. You guys can read the card there, but I think that card is quite nice. Not really a card you want to play in limited. Weather the Storm.
Yeah.
There are other storm cards, right? We have Wing Shards, for example, but
that might be it.
just those 2?
I think so. That might be it.
Fair enough. Unlikely to be played unless you have a lot of self damage.
Oh no, this is interesting. So Winter's Rest, it's like a claustrophobia,
Correct.
but it only stays tapped
Yes.
if you control
Yes.
another snow permanent.
Which, again, is going to be harder in sealed for sure, where you don't have the opportunity to pick up a ton of lands as they come around during the draft. But worst case scenario, you can tap a creature down for a turn. I wouldn't run this unless you have enough snow permanents.
And it would work that if you tap it down once, then they untap it,
Right.
because you don't have any other permanents. Later they attack.
Yes.
And while it's tapped, you then play another snow permanent, then it still doesn't untap because the Winter's Rest doesn't go away.
Correct.
But you kind of really don't want to run it outside of a heavy snow strategy.
I think for sealed, I'd want to have at least 5
lands.
At least, well, just
Or
snow
just snow
permanents in
permanents, yeah.
general. The thing about the wary, something to be wary of is if you have snow creatures, they can die, and then this ability would turn off, for example. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to be as good in sealed, certainly as draft. Totem Armor, why not?
I love Totem Armor.
Yeah.
That goes into my Tree Folk deck.
Fair enough. First Sphere Gargantua, throwback to Phyrexian Gargantuan from, I think it was Invasion Block, Apocalypse specifically, but good card. Unearth as well, why not? Got another Sand Sprinter there, another Recruit the Worthy, nothing too relevant. This is a nice one, by the way. This is just like Preordain on steroids, has flashback, does cost 2, but hey, that's a good card. That's the type of card I look for in sealed as well, where you're trying to dig for your specific bombs and whatnot. So.
And then Fist of Flame, draw a card, till end of turn, hard creature against trample, and +1/+1 for each card you've drawn this turn.
Yeah, so the red-blue spells deck, or draw card deck rather.
Yeah.
Pack 3, we got a Goblin token. Whoop. This is the Throes of Chaos, or something?
Yeah.
Throes of Chaos,
Throes of Chaos, you are correct.
Snow-covered forest, our rare this time being Giver of Runes.
Oh!
Kind of a callback to Mother of Runes.
Stepmom.
Yeah. It's...
But with 2 P's and an E.
It's fine. It's decent.
Because she's a core.
She cannot give herself protection.
No.
Is what is notable there.
Fixed Mother of Runes.
Yeah, Shatter Assumptions.
This card I don't think is very good.
No.
Limited. Correct.
Yeah, this is going to be a sideboard card and fringe at best, so not something I'm too excited about. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Squirrel Nest.
That is a nice... This card is just value.
I didn't know this was going to be in Modern. All right.
Yeah, this is really good in Limited. Lands are often hard to interact with. Now, there are going to be enchantment removal spells, but this is something that's just going to gain you value.
There is just actual pillage in this format also.
Sure. Lesser Manticore? Okay.
Oh.
Call back again to, well, many Manticores that they've had now, but this is a good one. It's just a great 2-drop. You're going to run this in every single deck you play in Sealed.
Yeah. It's just a pinger.
Yep.
A 2/2. You got to discard a card.
Yes. It persists. Oh, notably. Oh, no, that's only additional cast when you cast. Okay, so you don't have to discard a card on persist. But yeah, late game becomes great.
Oh, Man of War.
We got Marshall himself here.
I had no idea Man of War. I'm so used to seeing this reprinted in supplementary products with the new card frame. I had no idea this wasn't already in Modern.
Actually, yeah. They've reprinted it so many times you would have just assumed, right? Huh, okay.
But as it turns out, yeah.
Cave of Temptation, some fixing, and in addition to that, late game value. Cool. It's pretty good. More slivers.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that's only our second sliver, maybe third. A functional reprint there have been.
Sliver's going to be another one that's trickier to get into and sealed.
Exactly.
In the draft.
Exactly. Scavenger, Silmar Scavenger. It's an okay flyer. I'm not huge on this card, but can do some work. Settle Beyond Reality, good removal spell. One or both. So if you have that Flicker deck or the Blink deck like you did during the draft, this is just a solid removal spell that you're going to play.
That would be amazing in that deck, because then you just get to... I mean, even if you're not in that deck, if you just have a creature with a good ETB ability, you get to not only exile one of their creatures, but also just get random bonus value.
Absolutely. So just good value. Another Mother Bear.
Cool.
Haven't seen this one yet. Azra Smoke Shaper, 3/3 for 4, Ninjutsu 2. Enters the battlefield, target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. Okay.
Cool.
That's not bad.
And that can be itself.
Correct.
Yeah. The Azra were the race of creatures from Kylum, which is where Battle Bond took place.
Those are words in a sentence. Yes.
Did you didn't play much Battle Bond?
No, not at all. Phantasmal form. I think this is a good trick. It doesn't have to be just your creatures. You can also make your opponent's creatures.
Yeah.
Flyers.
And you're drawing a card off of it, which helps with that particular deck.
Exactly. Another nice card. Sacrifice Outlet here. Bogarden Dragonheart. Plenty of tokens / steal effects. Ephemerate for the Flicker deck.
Yeah. Which was fun. The Flicker deck was super fun. 2 Soul Herders and...
Soul Herder's nice. And you had multiple Mana Wars.
2 Mana Wars. I had 2 of the Martyr Souls, 2 of other things.
Soldier token. This is the Wall of 1,000 Pokes. Wall of
1,000 Cuts.
Oh, this one never shows up very well.
Yeah, I don't know why the card reader doesn't like it, but it's the Wall of 1,000 Cuts.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Snow-covered swamp. Oh.
This soldier, by the way, turns into a Merit Ledge token.
We have Adam's card here, the Cloud Shredder Sliver. This one's so powerful.
Brutal.
They just combined 2 of the best slivers together, giving haste and flying. What? Again, sealed, so less likely.
But the other slivers you've got so far are the ones in red and white.
Sure. I did not actually realize Regrowth was in this set. Good value.
Now in Modern.
Another great card here.
The Good Fortune Unicorn.
Yeah, whenever another creature enters the battlefield and your control put a 1/1 counter on that creature, I mean, it's a 3-mana 2/2 with that ability, so this card is absurd to me. 5-mana 3/5 Changeling Reach. When it enters the battlefield, if there are 3 or more creature cards in your graveyard, you gain 5 life. You don't even need that extra clause. 3/5 Changeling Reach is Okay, another Weather the Storm, whatever. Good removal. This is the first we've seen of Magmatic Sinkhole.
Oh, yeah.
Instant speed, delve, 5 damage to a creature or planeswalker, so just good rate overall. Another card we haven't seen yet, Putrid Goblin, 2/2 persist for 2.
Good stuff.
Tribal synergies and just solid 2. Elvish Fury, that's another buyback card. Good rate.
That's so annoying
Yeah,
to
good
deal
rate.
with if they have enough mana, which you can do in green.
It's
and
just-
you're just like,
yeah.
well, I'm just going to pay 5, and then my creature's bigger than your creature, and I still have this card in my hand.
It's so good even when you know, or when your opponent knows you have it, because
Yeah.
it's like, what are they going to do? They have to eventually draw into something. And,
If you have 6 mana, you can cast it twice. You just pay it with buyback and pay it again.
Again, a card I think is going to be better in draft than in sealed. Untap another snow permanent, which does count the land, so it can be a form of ramp. Another ninja, 6/3 ninjutsu, otherwise vanilla. Choking Tethers, cycling there, another.
I like Ninja the New Moon just because they were like, what if we just don't get fancy with a ninja? What if we just make, it's just big.
He's just big.
It's just a scary ninja. It's essentially a vanilla ninja, essentially.
yeah.
It doesn't do anything other than surprise you and hit you real hard.
Well, it's a big lava axe is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, you combine that with any of like the 1/1 unblockables or flyers or stuff like that, and it's a quick
Here's
block.
another sliver.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how the slivers just have baseline good stats this time around, because a lot of times slivers, they're like 4 mana 2/2s with some okay ability, but this time they're all like 3 mana 3/3s, 2 mana 2/2s. Reparation, great removal. Coward, yes.
Yeah.
Moonblade Shinobi here. That's another powerful ninjutsu. I think some games are just going to be overtaken by, your opponent goes a turn 1 creature, turn 2 creature or something, and then
Yeah.
they ninjutsu in one of these.
I mean, I know you still got 2 packs left. Oh, I love that illusion. And a spider.
And a spider.
But it feels like, oh, this is, yes, answered prayers.
I like that card a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I'd been main decking it. I had 2 in my Blink deck, and I wasn't sure if I should main deck them or not, and later on I realized I probably should.
Yeah, it's very good.
So I know we're in, oh, interesting, Kaya's Guile. I was going to say,
Oh, what do I think so far?
it feels like you could be black-blue ninjutsu,
Right.
or black, I'm just saying black because I know we have a lot of powerful black cards. Black-green has some cool-looking stuff.
Yeah, I don't have any of the spiders, but I think for sure you have to play some amount of black. It's just so many powerful individual cards are in it. Not necessarily synergistic, but
But do you have enough white my chair just surprised me. Do you have enough white to perhaps look at a Kaya's Guile?
yes, yeah. Or just splash it. I think that card's good enough. Plus, like the Settle Beyond Reality is a
Yeah.
good splash card. I think right now I'm leaning towards green-black, but we'll have to see. Kaya's Guile, very powerful, rare effect. Just get to choose 2.
Do all of it
Yeah,
for
very
6
good
mana.
modes. I don't know about this card.
Sadistic Obsession. 3 and a black, enchant creature. The creature has black, put a point. Oh, okay. Wait, on target creature.
Yeah, so it's slow.
Oh.
And it leaves you open to getting 2 for 1 very, very easily, but it is a powerful ability.
Yeah.
There is an untap card in this set.
Oh, there's a Scarecrow.
The Scarecrow
Untaps.
that has an untap ability. So if you have that going on, you can pay 3 mana to not only give your Scarecrow a 1/1 counter, but also put a -1/-1 counter on your opponent.
I mean, the Sadistic Obsession might combo nicely with the
Yawgmoth?
Yawgmoth, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Ooh, Blizzard Strix.
I don't know what this does. Flash Flying, 3/2 for 5, so that's fine stats. If you control another snow permanent when it enters the battlefield, exile target permanent other than it, and then return it. So it's a flicker if
Oh.
you have another snow permanent.
Neat.
Okay.
All right. You can save something from removal.
Yeah, just a good rate. Valiant Changeling, 3/3 for 7.
Yes, but wait.
Cost 1 color less for each creature type among creatures you control. This effect can't reduce the amount of mana this spell costs by more than 5. So wait, if you have another Changeling on the
Yeah.
battlefield, it counts as all creature types.
Yes.
It would be a white 3/3 Changeling with Double Strike.
Yes. If you already have a Changeling in play, this is 2 mana, 3/3 double strike.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow, that has a lot of potential. Mm-hmm. That seems like a great finisher too. Interesting. Are there Cancrics for the
Yeah.
mill plan? Oh, first of our mobs.
Oh, good.
Very good removal spell.
It's just removal with
Yeah.
Convoke.
Convoke, yep. Black doesn't normally go super wide, but I mean, it's instant speed and reduction is nice.
Arkham's Astrolabe, it's a snow permanent. It can only be cast with snow mana, which makes it pretty challenging, again, and sealed.
Yeah.
It also can, I discovered this, obviously I wasn't running this in my deck at the PPR.
Sure, sure.
But I realized that you can filter into snow
Yep.
mana, because you need snow mana to monstrous the Chiller Pillar, for example. And if you have 7 mana, but only one of it is snow, you can filter one through the Astrolabe because it generates snow mana.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't recognize that either. It's a snow artifact, so when it does add mana, you're right. It is nice. Again, not a card I'm likely to run just because sealed. I don't have many ways to actually cast it, but I love this card.
Fountain Vicar seems good.
Yeah, I think it's just solid. I always play these type of mana geode or these manalith type cards anyways in my sealed pools.
And this one can just become a dinosaur later.
Super upside, so that also, gives
A
us
dinosaur of all things.
splash potential. This card is also for a common.
This is unreal.
So 6 mana, 5/5 trample. Well, we're used to Colossal Dreadmaw, so maybe that's a little bit smaller in that aspect, but as long as they're a land in your graveyard, 8/8 trample? Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? It's a common? Hello?
And you already have cards in black that you're hoping to run that let you discard.
Oh yeah.
So,
Smoke
Shaper,
yeah, Smoke
cool.
Shaper, fine. Our first Tornado. So I'm always going to run this card in sealed.
Oh yeah,
I'm always going to run this card in sealed.
People could have a flying bomb, and if they don't, you just cycle
It
it.
cycles, yeah. Cycling makes cards so much better in these type of environments. That's like destroy target artifact. You're not going to main deck that in sealed, but destroy target artifact with cycling, sure. Why not? Because there's almost no downside. You're actually thinning your deck out by running these type of cards.
Oh, another one of the pingers.
Okay. Again, we're not really looking, or I don't think I'm really looking at that right now.
I don't think so
even
either.
though I
I'm
have
just
to-
like,
Yeah. White does have some good removal here. That's a
you're right,
second
actually.
reprobation.
yeah.
And then another Moonblade Shinobi. All right, I
Got
think
a lot of ninjas too.
I think I'm still leaning towards green-black as we move into the last pack, but
Probably.
there are a lot of other good cards in, say, white and in blue. A Zombo token with a construct on the backside.
Nice.
Whoop. Sisse.
Ooh.
Wait, yes. No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Sisse Weatherlight Captain.
All right.
Neat.
Got a snow-covered plains, so we have 2 swamps, 2 plains, a forest, and an island.
Ooh, a
Foil.
So the Springbloom Druid is sort of like, Brian was saying, it's sort of like Harrow.
Harrow, uh-huh.
So you can use it to fix or just ramp, and it also just pulls more lands out of your deck.
Also, Wombo combo.
Yeah, it works really well with the Murasa Behemoth.
Play this
So-
turn 3, go up to 4 lands. I guess this would be a turn 5 then, Behemoth with, the enable already online.
Pretty good.
Also open a Mythic, Seasoned Pyromancer. 3 mana,
Interesting.
2/2. When it enters the battlefield, discard 2 cards. That's a forced action.
Yeah, you have to do that.
Yes, then draw 2 cards. So, but if you don't have any cards in your hand,
Yeah.
you just draw,
Oh, right.
right? So, for each non-land card discarded this way, create a 1/1 red elemental creature token. So, you do get an upside for discarding cards. 2 red and 3, exile it from your graveyard, create 2 1/1 red elemental creature tokens. Okay, and that's
Cool.
instant speed. So, just a good value 3-drop. Not bad.
I don't think you've had a lot of terrific red otherwise.
Correct. Yeah, I have like that magmatic sinkhole or whatever it's called,
which
but
is
then
potentially splashable, but otherwise it's mostly
filler.
Yeah.
Just filler. I'm super excited for talismans.
Oh yeah.
These cards are great. Just especially at 2 mana. Like whenever you're casting a 3 mana artifact that ramps you or fixes you, it feels kind of bad. But 2 mana, you're often not
2
doing
mana
anything.
mana rocks are really nice.
Exactly. Aha! Sling Gang Lieutenant. You know the power of this card here.
Sure do.
Serge drafted me a nice little goblin deck with this one. Yeah, just value. If you remember Marsh Flitter from like Lorwyn Block, this is kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
Just all value. 3 1/1s for 4 mana, and then you can sacrifice goblins, including itself to ping the opponent or dream them out. This card is so good, by the way. I don't know if you've seen this one.
I actually picked one up in the draft, but I didn't. I was in blue-white, and I didn't feel like splashing the red just for this made sense. I didn't really have any fixing, but yeah, deals damage equal to when it. Blah, 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 blah. Anytime it attacks, it deals damage to any target equal to the number of cards you've drawn this turn. So at least 1.
Baseline 1. And it's
Baseline
a 3/4 flyer for 5.
Yeah.
So it's just a very, very good card.
Pretty good.
Nature's Chant. I don't know if this is the kind of card I'm going to start main decking in this format. We'll have to see how it plays out, but I think this is more of a sideboard card.
I guess there's going to be a lot of Fonts of Ichor running around. But
Yeah, I don't know if that's good enough
No.
standalone. Just a very, very good combat trick. Shelter, reprint from Odyssey Block. Igneous Elemental. This card's great, I think. Yeah, 4 mana, sorry, 6 mana, 4/3. Costs 2 less, though, if you have a land in your graveyard and then enters and deals 2 damage to a
We've
creature.
already shown there's a lot of ways to. So there's actually, it's red-green is a.
Oh, another land.
Yeah,
graveyard.
there's the red-green limited sort of archetype is lands in graveyard, which is a weirdly narrow archetype, but
there we go. Yeah. Another reprint from Invasion Block, Prohibit. Good card. I think I'd usually play that. Another Tornado.
cool.
Gluttonous Slug, our first actually. This card is good. I think this card is good.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's so easy just to make it a 2/5 menace for 2.
Yeah.
So, is that the only evolved creature too?
I think so.
Oh gosh, here they go again. Spinehorde Minotaur. Another nice one with the red-blue draw card deck. Even just cycle one thing on your turn, it's a 2/3 double strike. You know. Another Changeling, Imposter of the Sixth Pride.
Cool.
And a Phantom Ninja. I thought that was uncommon, but it's a nice little pickup for us if we end up going blue-black. All right, so after opening all my cards, I usually, what I do is just go through what I think are considered playables. So Slug playable, Lieutenant playable.
Move the wonderful art out of the way.
Sure.
Give you some more room to work.
Yeah, do you want me to put the cards I'm thinking
Sure,
of
go
playing
for
up here? Okay, so what I don't normally do is just pull out the cards I think are playable. Like Smoke Shaper's fine, it's not exciting. Mob is almost a certain play. Cards I consider, I put like to the side like this. Again, a card you might play, but it's nothing exciting. Putrid Goblin, yes. I already have one, so I don't know about another Smoke Shaper. Flyers are normally good. Card like Shatter Assumptions. Again, we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
Probably not going to play that. First Sphere Gargantua, just very good rate. Obviously going to play a Grave Shifter in any deck. This is a card I will splash for, too.
Oh, yeah.
Ward-Eye Witch.
That seems good.
Yeah, fine filler 3-drop.
Creatures are going to die.
We already have a few
bring them back.
changelings. Yeah, we already have a few changelings, so a card like this for recursion.
Oh, recurring the Grave Shifter.
Exactly. That's one of my favorite things to do in older formats. You have 2 Gravediggers and you're just
Gravedigger loop.
constantly getting them back and forth. Rank Officer, I don't know how to feel about this card, but I do have some graveyard synergies in green, so it would be interesting to maybe
because it lets you discard.
Right.
And okay.
Use that as a way to fuel the graveyard for lands, and then our Feaster of Fools that we saw earlier, and of course, Yawgmoth, Thran Physician.
That's a lot of strong black cards.
So yeah, these are all cards I would consider playable. Some of them are obviously a lot weaker, but if you take a look at the overall playability, we have a fat stack here, right? So not too shabby there. We can go through the green cards next. Tornado, again, because of the cycling, I'm always going to main deck this type of card. Maybe not the second, but always the first. Druid's good. We talked about the playability of the Behemoth. Again, maybe the second Tornado, who knows. 2/2 for 2 with random upside. If I do end up in green-black, per se, then I do have 3 lands, and this is a filler 2-drop, so might not be the worst.
I don't think there's any snow permanents in black, certainly not in your, in your pile.
I think there are some green snow creatures, but I don't even know if I have any of those. Great combat trick. You're going to end up running that. Nope.
Not running the Storm life gain. Absolutely running Webweaver.
Holy moly, that card is busted. I actually like Regrowth in this type of format as well, because usually these type of cards, they return like a creature or something, but you can get a removal spell, an enchantment, whatever, so I think Regrowth is...
Get back your Return from Extinction.
Sure, yes, and then get back 2 creatures with that.
Chain it.
Again, more graveyard value, Mother Bear.
And there's 2 Mother Bears, right?
Yep. Squirrel Nest, absolutely playing that. In fact, Squirrel Nest with Yawgmoth.
Ooh.
Is that a combo? I think it is. I don't normally like these type of cards in limited. Umbra, or rather, Totem Armor can be very, very powerful, but I don't think this one is good enough. Weather the Storm again, not playing that. This card's busted. 4 mana, 2/3/3s. Yes, please. Another Mother Bear. Absolutely.
Yep.
Krosan Tusker.
Yep.
Absolutely. And even Wall of Blossoms is not too bad. I think I have a lot of 2-drops as it stands. I'm going to put it in the playable pile for now, but it's not necessarily going to make the deck. So again,
got a pair of fat stacks here.
A fat stack of green and black playables. So I'm liking the way that's panning out so far. White, filler 2-drop, it's fine. It's a changeling. Shelter, we already talked about, is good. Here comes the removal, though. Like, we have Reprobation, just solid removal. So you're always looking for removal in your sealed pools, because your opponents are always going to be running their most powerful cards normally as well.
You have a handful of changelings.
I do have a handful of changelings, so this is a card that it speaks to me. I think it's
In fact,
very,
we
very
just
good.
saw a 2-drop changeling.
Yes, absolutely.
So turn 2, turn 3.
I mean, if they don't have an early removal spell, this will just obviously take over the game. Good removal.
Yeah.
Blink effect. Again, another removal spell, reprobation.
Another blink effect.
Another blink effect with rebound.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
I think this is cute as a combat trick. You're obviously going to run Mother of, or Giver of Runes if given the chance. I think this card is okay.
Yeah.
It makes it so you have always something to do in the late game, and just end of turn making a 1/1 is better than not doing anything. So I think this is probably worth running because of the buyback, but I don't know if I'm going to run the second.
Yeah.
Veteran's very good. We've seen a lot of 4-mana tap creatures like the Elk in
yes,
the
the Starcrown Stag.
Starcrown Stag, thank you. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, fine. I don't know if I'm going to be running 2, but it's...
The 2/4 on the Rocks Veteran makes it harder for them to kill in combat, especially when you're tapping down their biggest thing.
This might be our first white card that I don't think is very, very good. But the thing is, I do have a lot of changelings.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
this is just a 2/2 first strike
by itself.
for 3, which is... That 2/2 first strike for 3
Yeah.
is not awful.
Exactly.
But yeah, you've got those other... I mean,
random
one of the changelings in white already has double strike itself.
Sure,
But
the Valiant. Yeah, but like Imposter, a 3-power, 2-drop, that one's first strike.
yeah.
And our last white card is another one that's very, very good, especially in conjunction with like the Recruit the Worthy instant.
Yeah.
So, again, all of these cards
actually,
are playable.
yeah.
So, I don't think the power level is the same though as the green or black. And this is not uncommon. If you guys have played Masters sets or this type of thing before, you're going to find a lot of playables. You're not going to have a lot of chaff. The thing is being able to go through and find the synergies. So I don't think, say, the white pairs any better with these two than those two together.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. And I feel like you're going to have a similar thing with blue because I think that the blue and the black could pair together very well.
I agree.
But that this will be a stronger synergy
Absolutely.
of the green black. But let's take a look at the blue.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure blue just doesn't have enough playables. Like Phantom Ninja's good. Prohibit, I think I always start this type of effect just because it's versatile. And like your opponent's always going to have something in their deck that costs 4 or less. Almost always would they have something that costs 2 or less. So Moonblade Shinobi, another fine card. I'm gonna play that. But then we start coming to these type of cards where I don't have any snow permanents or very, very few. So Iceberg,
Not enough
Cankrit,
to get on the Cankrit's plan.
This is fine as a 3/2 flash flyer for 5. Again, you would like the upside.
You're unlikely to get the upside.
Right, so it's just baseline stats.
If you were going blue-black, you'd probably run the 3 snowlands, the 3 on-color snowlands.
Oh, absolutely. Just because it's a little bit of upside randomly.
But you can't guarantee it.
Again, another Shinobi, fine, but not exciting. I don't have many enablers in black, for example, right? I don't have any of the unblockable changelings. I have a few flyers, but not too many. Choking Tethers, again, another card with cycling, so it's always going to be fine to play. Cycling, again, pseudo-cycling, because it says draw a card, right? Another okay effect. Mana War, you're going to always play that. Scour, you're always going to play that. Winter's Rest, however, again, one of these cards we were talking about earlier, like the snow permanents, I don't have enough to really utilize this all that well. Similarly, this Cunning Evasion, while I'm sure there will be draft decks that want it, this type of what I have so far is just not good enough. Spell Snuff, I love cancels, I love counter spells. In Sealed, your opponent's always running something powerful. You don't need the Fateful Hour to make it an okay card, so. Another Cankrix, not going to run it. But again, just even though I have plenty of quote-unquote playables in blue, it's just the power level's not there. I have a 2/2 that bounces something. I have a 2/2 unblockable. I have some Shinobis that, are good. They are very good with Phantom Ninja, for example, and they can get some value. It's just the overall power level here.
And you've got this one blue-black card.
Ninjutsu.
Yeah.
Which, again, is a good one, but it just doesn't have the power level that you want for Sealed, nor the synergy. So I think we can probably consider blue a cut here.
Yeah, and fixing-wise, I guess you only have the Fountain of Ichor. Right, I guess you got. Well, the Nurturing Peatland is already.
That's actually crazy that it's already. Yeah,
that you're considering.
Yeah.
Talisman of Conviction for Boros fixing, and then the Fountain will fix anything. But again, yeah.
And whatever deck we play, the Lesser Manticore I think is going to make it in regardless, so just because it's colorless. If you think about it, it's never going to be the worst card in your deck. Sometimes you run 18 lands, sometimes you run 16 in limited or whatever, give or take. The norm is 17, but if you consider running 23 non-lands, this is probably not going to be the worst card in your deck. So,
And then let's take a look at red, which I think had the least.
Yeah, it had some fine cards. Again, fine on its own. Okay on its own for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, this is a pretty good card.
Good
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's just looking at everything overall, I think we're going to be able to tell that red is not where we want to be. Again,
I mean, so like the blade back sliver is, I mean, it's a bear.
Yep,
in red,
it's a 2/2 for 2.
And if you're running a card in your hand, it's a pinger.
So you're going to run this in all of your red decks, I think, even
Yeah.
if you don't have many other slivers. These new slivers don't have the downside of pumping or giving the benefits to your opponent's slivers. So
Or changelings.
or changelings. Yeah, right. So
That would be bad. That'd be very bad in this format.
yeah, so I don't think this is something bad to run. It's just it's not very exciting.
Yeah.
Similarly, we have a second one. This is our best red card behind the season Pyromancer so far, just because it's good removal. This is not going to be very good with what we have. It does synergize really well in the set with like the goat naps and the steel effects, or just anything that produces tokens.
Cards that make multiple goblins.
Exactly, but again, just in this deck particularly, I don't think it's something we'd want to run. Cleaving Sliver, it's a 4/2 for 4. We already have a few other slivers, so it's not like bad. This card is fine.
Yep.
It's a combat trick. It cycles, so again, not terrible. And then we just have 2 random Viashino Sand Sprinters, which I don't like these cards in sealed unless you're trying to mise some wins, meaning you're trying to kill your opponent very quickly, or just get them because your power level is a lot lower. But they do cycle, so it's not like they're completely awful. But again,
Overall power level in red, not up.
overall power level, you have Magmatic Sinkhole.
Which you could potentially splash.
Yes, Seasoned
Which
Pyromancer
you probably couldn't splash.
and Igneous Elemental, but
Also probably not able to splash.
yeah, but overall it's just it doesn't feel good. So I think just our initial thought here of green-black is probably going to be the best. I'll take a look at the multicolored cards once again, just in case there's something, because oftentimes multicolored cards are worthy of splashes. Infiltrator, no. Nature's Chant, no. Thundering Djinn, well, if I'm going green-black, I don't think I'm going to splash a double-colored card. Is Guile? Okay, so this is where things start to get a little bit interesting, because then
If you're already in black.
then we go and recall all of the good white cards, like individual white cards.
Yeah.
So, like Rock's Veteran, okay, good, but maybe not considered a splash. But Reprobation, just very, very good
Settle
removal,
Beyond Reality,
which I
maybe?
have 2 of them. Settle Beyond Reality, very, very
You
good
got 2
removal.
settled. I missed that.
Oh, sorry, no, 2 Reprobations.
2 reprobations.
Yes.
Sorry, yeah.
And then a Giver of Runes. So another card, it's good, but I don't think you'd splash it. So then what I do here is like, okay, if I have this good removal in white, can I splash it with what I want to do so far? So let's take a look at our fixing. Let's move all these
Also
other.
have this Good Fortune Unicorn.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
which
another card.
If you're already splashing white.
Absolutely,
And you're
yeah.
already in black-green, maybe.
Yep. No, and I think the power level is definitely there to consider. So right now, what it appears to be is like a green-black, maybe splashing white, and I think we're just going to go from there. So we do have the Fountain of Ichor.
Yep.
That's a good fixer, and a
Talisman
card.
doesn't really help you in this case unless you want to ramp.
Correct. Red, white, no, probably not. We do have the Cave of Temptation.
Now that is a... Oh, okay.
It's like a Shimmering Grotto,
Right.
but with good upside in the late game.
Put 2
So-
counters on target creature. Oh, you just get to start putting counters on creatures?
No, you have to sacrifice it.
Oh, you said...
Yeah. That would be very,
That would
very
be
good if you
very
had just
powerful.
a continuous effect.
Okay, so you do it once. All right,
Yes.
sure.
So I'm going to move these over here. This is almost certainly getting... I mean, there's almost 0 chance I'm not playing that. In green, that's where our fixing lies. So we do have the Krosan Tusker
Yeah. And you got the Druid.
and the Druid, which
that
I'm looking for now.
Might be it.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of fixing already. I don't think black has any.
I don't think so either.
No. So that, I think, is good enough
Yeah, I think so.
to be a splash. So we can consider now splashing white after we lay out our other cards. So what I always do is creatures versus non-creatures.
Yeah.
And then I do it by converted mana cost. I'm going to assume Krosan Tusker is just a 3-mana cycle. Obviously, sometimes you're going to cast it on 7, but that's not
so
normally the case.
you've got Tusker down there as a spell.
Correct.
basically,
Yeah. Spell. Yeah. We got our Mother Bear. Even though Trumpeting Herd is indeed a sorcery, it is effectively.
Krosan Tusker is a creature that counts as a spell, and Trumpeting Herd is a spell that counts as a creature.
Right. I'm going to put Squirrel Nest on 4 because you can't use it the turn you cast it if you cast it on turn 3. but it is, again, kind of a sustained creature ability. More Mother Bears, Regrowth. One of the best cards there. Our Changeling.
That Changeling seems very powerful.
Yeah, Fury. Rhyme Tender. This is a card I'm just going to immediately consider cutting. Sure. Marasa Behemoth. And that's honestly looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, Rhyme Tender would only... You've got 2 snow swamps and a snow forest.
Yeah.
But that's... I don't think that's a reliable enough upside when you've got so many better 2-power creatures, or two casting cost creatures.
I'm just going to put the Lesser Manticore straight in the deck. It has already so much synergy in the deck. Like, we can discard Mother Bears and then just exile them for our graveyard. We can discard lands for the Marasa Behemoth, for example. Yawgmoth. I mean, I don't think I can not run that card.
He's just good.
Feaster of Fools. Pretty good with, like, what is it, the Squirrel Nest as well.
Oh, yeah.
Poop out a bunch of 1/1s, then they cast the colorless Convoke cost, as well as being devour targets.
Once Spring Bloom Druid comes into play, he's sort of outlived his welcome.
Exactly, it's only a 1/1.
And with the Convoke, how early do you think you could get the Feaster out in this deck? If you cast Spring Bloom Druid on turn 3.
So you could cast this card on turn 4 as a 5/5 flyer and just sacrifice a 1/1.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 2-drop,
yeah, right.
3-drop,
I'm in.
4-drop, 7/7 flyer, maybe, sometimes, honestly.
I call.
Yeah.
I'm in.
So I'm going to put this at 6, but it's not technically a 6. Rank Officer, this is one of the cards I'm considering cutting. It was playable in the black pile, but it might not.
It's got graveyard synergy,
correct,
but a different kind, because that involves exiling cards from your graveyard, and you kind of want the stuff to stay there because you've got things like Regrowth and Return from Extinction. Yep. So yeah, the Rank Officer's not doing the right kind of stuff.
Yeah. Also, I already have a glut of, well, pseudo 4s, but we'll probably see more 4s as well. Another fine 3-drop filler. There's another 4-drop Grave Shifter. First Sphere of Gargantua, another card that you can discard to whatever, no problem, and then unearth it later. Silumgar Scavenger. And look, this is a card I'm going to consider cutting already off the bat. 5-mana, 2/3 flyer. It has exploits, which is fine, but I don't think the haste in this style of deck is going to be all that relevant. I think this probably pairs best with red in the Black-Red Sacrifice deck.
So it gets a counter every time.
Every time, yes, anytime.
Any creature of yours dies.
Correct.
So you don't have to use the exploit for it, which that could have some upside, especially with your Mythic Proliferate card. But I see what you're saying.
We'll see. If I want a flyer, then this is certainly going to fit the bill. Putrid Goblin, it's a fine 2-drop. Honestly, I might not need it with the other 2-drops I already have, but I think this is just a very solid card overall.
Good to sacrifice the Feaster of Fools.
Exactly. Or wait, there's Master of the Feast, and now there's Feaster of Fools. Again, another card that I'm going to just consider cutting now. It was playable, but maybe in the green-black, it doesn't have a good purpose. Mob, just good removal. Cannot not play that. Another one of those filler cards. I don't think we're going to play this. It feels like a Hill Giant a lot of the time. Yeah. Like maybe you play it pre-combat and you can attack with something, but not amazing. Just a very solid 4-drop, so I think you're going to run this no matter what. Plus we have Graveyard Recursion, right, with the Grave Shifter, the Return from Extinction.
Yep.
And the old Gluttonous Slug.
I think the Slug gets in.
It probably does. Think? Yeah, so like I have enough 2/2s, and 2/2s would just grow that twice, right? Yeah. So now what I'm going to do is count the number of overall cards that I've considered running without the white. This is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So that's already like...
All right, so that's already a deck.
That's already like a perfect deck right now, but...
do you want to spice it up with white?
Exactly, and that's where
because your only removal here is, I guess, maybe Tornado and Mob.
Correct, yes. No other creatures. Well, I guess Yawgmoth.
Yeah.
Yawgmoth is pseudo removal. But now that we're looking at this, I don't think this is enough removal for sealed. Mm-hmm. And like if I'm going to a Magic Fest to play in the main event, the Grand Prix, I would want to go for the more powerful deck, the deck that's going to give me the highest chances of winning throughout 9 rounds, 8 rounds of play versus, a deck that's solid, but if somebody just plays what if they play a Yawgmoth of their own and I don't have my Mob? What am I going to do, right? So this is where we consider all the white removal. I don't think I need the Unicorn in this deck, but man, it is super nice with Squirrel Nest. I will say that much right now.
Oh yeah,
being able to make 2/2s. Yeah. Also, again, we pointed out the Yawgmoth Proliferate. Very, very good.
Good Fortune Unicorn interacts well with Sling Gang Lieutenant too, doesn't it?
Put a 1/1 creature. I don't Oh, I guess, because it makes 2/2s instead?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure,
You get
sure.
3 2/2s for 4 mana.
If we want to go deep down the combo line, persist with 1/1 counter.
Oh,
So-
it just negates it.
So this is actually an infinite combo right here.
Yeah.
If you want to see an infinite combo, Sling-Gang Lieutenant, sacrifice Putrid Imp,
Or Putrid Goblin.
sorry, Putrid Goblin. It comes back with persist.
Yeah.
The Good Fortune Unicorn gives it a 1/1 counter.
The counters cancel out.
Correct.
And you just
And
sack it
so
again.
you can slingshot, or not slingshot, but
You can sacrifice it
anyways, you can
an infinite number of times.
Yeah, machine gun. I guess I'm
Yes.
saying machine gun your opponent from 20 to 0
An auto-repeating
with
slingshot.
these 3 cards.
Yeah.
That's kind of cute. That might be worth running just for the clever sake. And again, Putrid Imp is a fine 2-drop, right?
Yeah.
So it's something to consider. Anyways, let's go look at the removal. Exile target creature you don't control. Exile effects are very, very good. And the nice thing about this is that because it's 5 mana, you're not in a position early in the game where you're like, oh crap, I need white on turn 2 to reprobate something, you know?
And I think it's worth pointing out also, with the other mode of Settle Beyond
Yep.
Reality,
Is that? Oh, yeah, it's already up there.
the Springbloom Druid,
Sure.
the Sling-Gang
Yes.
Lieutenant, Grave Shifter
Yes.
for sure.
Uh-huh.
Webweaver Changeling has an ETB effect.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
And the First Sphere
Gargantua.
Gargantua. Yeah, they all have pretty good ETB effects. You wouldn't mind recycling.
Wall of Blossoms too, draw a card.
Oh, yeah, right, Wall of
So
Blossoms.
this deck has a ton of synergy with flickering
Yeah.
your own cards, even though that's a blue-white mechanic in this set. So again, I think this is a card I would immediately consider. The question is, are the reprobations worth it? It's an enchantment. You want the mana early for it, which is kind of awkward, but loses all abilities, is a coward with base power and toughness 0/1. So the true downside here is that they still get to block with the creature for a turn or whatever.
Yeah.
If they have enchantment removal or they're playing flicker effects of their own, that could really hurt this as well. So I'm not sure if I would run this as much as I would run the Settle.
I agree, yeah.
And then we have to look at Kaya's Guile.
For me, if I was already splashing for the Settle, I would be splashing for the Kaya's Guile. What do you think?
I think it's good enough. It's just, it has too many good abilities. So I don't like the sacrifice effect. Diabolic Edict is oftentimes not strong enough because if somebody Diabolic Edicts me, I have like Mother Bear and stuff.
Right.
That's whatever. But again, it's the power level of the overall card, and if you're entwining it, 6 mana, you get to do all of these potent things. So yeah, I kind of like running that as well. We've added a few cards. I'm going to consider the reprobations, but leave them in the sideboard versus potential decks. I think I'm going to do the same with the Good Fortune Unicorn.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, leave it in the sideboard, and then maybe if I want to get cute and clever, I'll try to bring it in. And I think that's now, what, 25 cards?
Probably.
2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25, so we have to cut 2 cards. I think the first type of cut is usually these type of combat tricks.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, this one is a very good one just because, again, the buyback we were talking about earlier. But I don't think I'm going to have a problem closing out the game. I just have a lot of true value, and especially with like Yawgmoth and stuff, I think we don't need combat tricks when we have value in our creatures. So that would be my first cut. And then I have to look at the rest and say, well, what's the worst card in this deck? I don't like, for example, I don't think Tornado is necessarily the worst card in this deck.
Because being able to cycle it is big, and again, in sealed, having removal for a random flyer might be very
Exactly,
important.
and we've seen a ton of good flyers in this format already, so it's something that...
Is it just like the wall?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I have enough early game where I don't need the Wall of Blossoms to stabilize me.
Yeah, you have 3 2/2s and an 0/3.
Correct.
That gets bigger.
Yes. Also, Squirrel Nest, again, does come down on turn 3, so we have enough early game that I think we'd be okay just cutting the Wall of Blossoms, even though this effect and card is very, very good. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's necessary in this deck. So for fixing, again, we do have the Fountain of Ichor.
The Krosan Tusker and the Druid get to go looking for
We have
whatever
the Druid.
planes you're running.
Yes, we have the Krosan Tusker.
The Nurturing Peatland helps a little bit.
Okay, yeah, drawing a card is kind of like fixing, and then we have the Cave of Temptation.
Well, I mean, like if you have one land that produces black or green, then you're more comfortable running.
Correct.
running more
Absolutely.
planes.
Yes, that's a great point. And so I think this would be pretty close to my 23. I would only run one plains. I don't think we need any more than that, but you want to have a basic to search for with the Tusker and the Spring Bloom Druid.
So with 2 land already, 15 more land, one of them is a plains, 14 land. Do you just do an even 7/7 split with this deck?
Correct. I think that looks pretty good. We have about even splits of double black and double green if you're looking at it, right? We have the Squirrel Nest on double green, Trumpeting Herd double green, Webweaver Changeling double green, Maressa Behemoth double green, and then 1, 2, 3 double black cards.
So you got 4 double green, 4 double black. I'm not counting, or sorry, 3 double black, 4 double green.
Right.
I'm not counting Tusker as double green because
Correct.
you're almost always going to cycle it.
You're just
And
going
if
to
you-
cycle that.
If you do need the double green, that's so late in the game that you'll probably be fine for it.
Yeah, so if you're running
Sweet.
7/7 split of forests and swamps, that's 8 sources of green and black on turn 1 without filtering. Then you still have the Cave of Temptation, which can produce green or black should you need to do that, even though it just takes you off kind of a turn. But yeah, this deck looks great. I think I would go 7 forests, 7 swamps, 1 plains, and just have a really solid green-black graveyard deck.
Awesome.
Yeah.
This deck looks sweet. I want to play it now. Well, terrific. Thank you, Kenji. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for this Modern Horizons sealed deck build brought to you by Wizards of the Coast. Thanks for joining us here and for watching the PPR. And check out your own Modern Horizons pre-release, be it sealed or draft, this coming weekend, June 8th and 9th at your local game store. And thanks for watching.